This is James Flanagan with Gann Global Financial, coming to you on Monday, August 13th. And I believe that we're at important inflection points in the interest rate, precious metal, and agricultural sectors. And so I've scheduled a free webinar presentation that I'll be doing and conducting this Thursday, August 16th. And I just finished a lengthy high content report for subscribers, bringing them up to date on everything that has transpired leading up to these points. And it's often very important to know what the footsteps are in a market that lead to the potential moves that one would anticipate historically. And so I'm just going to scroll through some of the charts of this presentation that I did, but I'm going to cover much of this material in the upcoming webinar, free webinar on Thursday. And looking at the bond market, it's important to remind ourselves in the interest rates that we are at the lowest interest rate levels since the 1950s. And this is good news for the economy long term. As bad as the news has been, one of the key factors and driving factors in the economy is the cost of money. And fortunately, the cost of money is very low. What's so interesting is this recent decline in the yields, this is 30-year bond yields, to 2.45% interest rate, which broke the crisis lows from 2008 at 2.52%. Now, in 1981, these interest rates were over 17%. So we have long-term rates at 2.54% as far as the lows are concerned, and this capitulation, what we believe is a capitulation, is setting the stage for a long-term bull market in bond yields. That means yields increasing, and long-term bear market in bond prices. So it's fascinating to see what has taken shape. These are some of the shorter term charts that we're monitoring for subscribers. I'll be going over those in the upcoming webinar. Now in the cash S&P 500, we are flirting with the highs for the bull market on April 2nd at 1422.38. And so this, in our estimation, has been a corrective low, which is being followed by a move to the upside. And note the 2008. This was really the final rally high before the financial crisis and the economy unraveled in earnest. And so we basically tested that high as of April 2nd. We expect this high to be regained. Our closest fit historic precedents are on this chart from the 1920s and the 1950s. We'll be talking about that at the upcoming webinar as well. September S&P, this is how we're tracking as far as the contract is concerned. I've talked about the bottom of the 60-year cycle. The projection that we've had ever since April 20th was for a final low to be put in this time frame, and this being the type of move that would follow. So we do expect there's going to be a major move up, but I'm going to be looking at in detail at that 60-year cycle. And one of the markets that's going to be fascinating to watch is dramatic as the decline has been in the silver market, and by virtue of the fact that there's a double top in the silver, if during this next major run-up in inflation, if the silver were to advance above that 1980 and the double top in 2011, life is going to get very interesting there. These are projections that we've been following for subscribers. These are the price patterns that we'll be going over as far as the precious metals that suggest the potential for an imminent buy signal here over the course of the next week. I'll be going over that in detail and the expectation that the silver will lead the gold higher. Now the next complex is the agricultural complex. The soybeans advanced to new all-time highs in a seasonal time frame, which suggests that we are in a topping area both in the soybeans, soybean meal, and in the corn market. So the corn advanced to new all-time highs, soybean meal, and the soybeans, but things have stalled out here. I want to go in depth as far as what's taking place in these markets and what the prospect is. Is this going to be ideally a correction followed by another move into new all-time highs? Or do we have a final top in these markets, which I don't expect that to be the case, but shakeouts in these markets, the probabilities favor them. We're going to be looking at the projections that we've had on the board for quite some time, and then also the seasonal tendency in these markets based upon our database going back to 1877. So I want you to join us at this upcoming free webinar. It's going to be this Thursday, August 16th. and the time will be at 4 p.m. Pacific time. That's 7 p.m. Eastern time. And very simple to register. Many of you have done this before. Just click the Register Now button to the right of this video. You'll be taken to the webinar registration page. And once again, if you'll not be able to attend the live event, a full webinar replay will be available shortly after the webinar's completion on Thursday. Simply register the same way that you would if you were attending the live event. And I am excited about what's taking place in the markets and look forward to basically having you look over my shoulder at the precedents as far as history is concerned, what the closest fits are, and what the implications are. So with that, I'll let you go. Have a good day and profitable trading.